Hello everyone, this is a video tutorial on XMGRACE, a plotting tool in the Linux operating system. For example, in my case I'm using Ubuntu 16.04 and XMGRACE comes within the operating system. So you'll need XMGRACE, which is obvious, and a data file. If you don't have XMGRACE installed, you have to go to the web page of XMGRACE and click on the download button and then follow the instructions given there. Chances are that you already have XMGRACE installed in your system. Now, what is XMGRACE? XMGRACE is an open source plotting tool used from high school students to experienced scientists. It is highly customizable. It has an inbuilt language inside it, which I will definitely cover in my later videos, and will produce it's possible to produce some good quality, publication quality plots. You can save the plots in different formats, like PNG, PDF, and from my experience, XMGRACE never crash unless you do something extremely stupid, which in most of the time is not the case. And above all, as I mentioned, it's open source. You can view the code, you can add your own code. That's one of the strong points, that you can customize it to suit your needs and so on. So let's start. So it's initiated by typing XMGRACE in your terminal. I'm using an Ubuntu operating system here, and the terminal I'm using is Terminator, but you can use your own, it doesn't matter really. So XMGRACE is started by typing up XMGRACE. Now this is the interface when you first open the XMGRACE. As it's pretty obvious, you'll have file and open all the file, print, setup, print. You can edit some of the data sets and blah blah blah, preferences, and you can do many things with the data that you have, like transformation. You can evaluate an expression, like if you want to change the axis, if you want to transform the axis and so on. And you can go by plotting, you can go on with histograms if you like. You can transform Fourier transform, you can make averages, differences, integrate the curves, you can fit nonlinear curve fitting, and this is one of the powerful feature of XMGRACE. It's extremely useful, and you will see its power in the coming videos. And there are some others too, which I'll talk in my later videos. So you will need a data file, which I had in my directory, so it can be taken by file open, data import ASCII. So the name of my data file is data1.data. So as you can see here, is there a filter option, which basically will try to find the .dat files in your home directory, in your directory where the XMGRACE is being initiated. For example, I initiated my XMGRACE from documents XMGRACE tutorial. Okay, so if we do a list files ls, there's a data1.dat here, so it is being listed here, which is cool. So it can be taken by double clicking or clicking with OK. So there are some options. So I'll show what the data one looks like. It's a simple data file. You can make it by hand. So my data file looks like this. So basically it's an x versus x square with 4 up to 4 points. So as you can see, 1 1 2 4 3 9 6. It's a simple data file. And if you do with the basic options, click OK, it will just plot the data file. Okay. Now if you want to view the data file, just double click on the graph. So it will have set appearance, and then double click again. So you'll have a spreadsheet like editor or viewer to view your data. Now you can make changes here, like if you want to make it 16 up to 13, and if you click apply, the change is instantaneous. I'll show it once again. So as you can see, the change is instantaneous. So that's that with the data file. And if you want to add a title immediately, like somewhere here, so the title of the graph will be somewhere around here, so you double click on that, and then you have the graph appearance tab open. So you have the title, my first data plot or something, whatever, and also you can put a subtitle for YouTube. Okay. You can have the different parameters to change the font style, to where to put this and so on. You can experiment it out. So basically, when I click apply, it will just put the my first data plot, and yeah. Now, so you want to know what the axes are. For example, if you want to show it data to your teacher or someone else, you need to know what the axes represent. So you need to name them. So double click on this axis. So you can see here Grace X axis. There's a label string. You can write something like X in probably centimeters or something like that. So as I mentioned, the change is instantaneous. If you click apply, it will come. Then y-axis, it's like x square. Okay, so it's the change is being updated here, and there are a couple of other options. You can experiment it by yourself. So that's the basic thing that all you need to start with plotting XMGRACE. XMGRACE. Okay, so you can actually customize your data. You can actually plot XMGRACE directly from the terminal. So I'm going to show it how. So before that, one important thing: XMGRACE do not have an undo option. It will not do an undo. So be careful to make changes and save. Before making a save, you need to be absolutely certain that it is what you need. Now, people wonder why XMGRACE does not have an undo option. It simply is that the developer hasn't updated his code yet. But there's nothing to worry about. You always save your work before making any change, before experimenting or making some substantial changes. So you can have here is the save as. So XMGRACE normally save it as an AGR file. So you can type in here, type in the file name, file1 or plot1. That's .agr. Okay, so that is a save as. It will not save yet. You click on save, it's saved. So if we do NLS, there you can see the plot1.agr file saved. So we quit the first session, and I'll show you how to plot XMGRACE from the terminal using the data already here. without going data import, etc. So we do XMGRACE data1.dat, and it's already here. Okay, it's already plotted. You don't need to take the data export or something like that. Now we quit it, and if you take XMGRACE, the earlier saved file plot1.agr, it will just give the same thing that we, and we can make the changes whatever we want to this and save it again. Now I'll show you something really cool here. I'm doing a plot, save parameters, and plot1.par, parameters par. Okay, so if you list the files, there is one more file, plot1.par. So I quit it and I do an XMGRACE data1 with an option par plot, okay, plot1.par. Oh, sorry. Okay, so it will plot your data file with the parameters like my first data plot for you2, which were earlier given by hand. You don't have to do it once again. Once you save the data or the plot, save parameters, it will do it for any other data file you choose. So for example, if you, so we quit it, if you make another data file, for example data2.dat, and we edit, for example, if you change something like 2, and we plot data2.dat now using the plot1.par. So as you would guess, this session will have the data2 plotted with all the parameters of plot1.par. Okay, so you don't have to type in oops, sorry, I made a mistake here. So that's correct. Okay, so all the parameters are set, and if you check the data file, the data in here, it's actually changed data file with the earlier parameters for it. So it's extremely useful thing, as you will see in my later videos. If you have some graphs which have larger number of cores, like 10 or 20 cores in it, and you don't have to type in all the legend name and stuff like that, you just do it for one, save the parameters for plot, save parameters, and take it and call it by XMGRACE data2 plot1.par. Now, for people who are not so familiar with the command line in Linux, you can always call the par file, the parameter file, inside the XMGRACE. I'll show you how. So, basic commands, XMGRACE, and we plot it by primitive methods, if I may. X import data sk, and let's say we plot data1.dat. So we have data1.dat plotted here, and we have nothing on the axis, and you need to invoke the earlier parameter file. So you have plot load parameters, extremely obvious, plot1.par, and here you go, all the stuff you've typed in earlier is here. So that's with the parameter file. Then if you make some changes in the data, for example, if you change some of the numbers and you need to save it, save the data alone, not the whole XMGRACE file, you just need to do an data export to ASCII, and you type in the name data3.dat. Okay, sorry, you have to select the set which one you are going to save. So it's the S0 set, which is here. You select it, you do an OK. So that will save the data3. So if you do a list files, there's actually a data3 in here. Now, as you can see, the data3 is not listed here instantaneously. You can just do that by clicking here and just press and enter. It will update it. So you can save the different data sets here. So the first data set will always be G0, S0, and there are two columns or rows? Columns, I think, and 5 rows here. So the first row starts from 0 to 4, so that will be total 5, and the X, Y is 2 denoted here. Now, in many cases, you need to name what the set represents. So you can, you can double click on it, and it's been selected already, if not selected. And there's something called legend. You write it. It's data from data3. I don't know. Okay, so it's been the legend is placed here. So there are several options that you can tweak around. You have the color. If you change it to yellow. Oops, sorry, that's for the symbol properties. That's not the good one. Line properties, yellow. Apply. So it's going yellow, and the legend is already updated here. Now, if you want to see the actual data points where they are, you just have to enable this option, symbol properties. For example, circle. Here is red, so the data is placed here. Now, one other feature is that if you hover your mouse around the window in the XMGRACE, you can actually see the XY coordinates of the of the region. For example, if I put my mouse pointer over here, it's something 1 point, so it's about 1 to 1. I think the first point is 1 to 1, yeah. And here we have 0 to 0. You know, it should be extremely precise. Oh god. Okay, 3.94. Okay, anyway, you get the point. All right. Okay. Now, so that's that. So if you want to plot one more data file, you just need to import another data file, for example data2 here, and it will be placed in the second set as 1, which is already red. So you change the color of S1 to black, for example. So S1 is plotted here. If you put it into square symbols, apply. Okay, I don't know if, okay, now change it into from data to apply. Here you go. Okay. Now again, if you want to save your parameters here, and if you want to use this same set of parameters like the axis name and so on, you just need to do a save parameters and plot 1 to 2 3, I think, to 3.par. I mean, just means you have data 2 and data 3 combined. Okay, just do that. And if you see, let's see if it is listed here. So we have plot to 3.par, which can be invoked in a different session, as I will show you now. So we'll do XMGRACE again, and I'll import 2 data sets. Okay, data 2. Okay. So you can see here the 2 data sets being plotted. So I'm gonna invoke the parameters of 2, 3. So everything comes by magic. It's not rocket science. It's just some convenient tool to get your work done more quickly. Okay. So one last thing I would like to show you, to call the 2 data files at a time from the terminal. Those who are geeks, are terminal geeks, Linux geeks, always likes to work in the terminal. So for them, I'm going to invoke the 2 data files with the parameters from a single command. You don't have to do many clickings. That's the main point. XMGRACE data1.dat data2.dat with PAR. My pinky is not working today. Data 1, 2, 2, 3. Okay, no, it's something. What's the name? Plot 23.bar. Pinky. Plot 23. No. 23.bar. You'll see the same plot with all the parameters without making any more clicks. Yeah, here we go. Everything's here. Be sure to save it. Plot 2, 3. Okay. .agr. Always remember to save it by AGR so that XMGRACE can see if you want to open it, or it's just a format for XMGRACE to see the saved data files. So saved. Now if I do an ls, you can see the 2 plot1.agr, plot23.agr, which is the same as we see here. So that's it for the first video. I'll do some fitting techniques, some more advanced tools, to how to use the command line of XMGRACE, how to program in XMGRACE. It's really cool stuff that you will see if you have a lot of files, if you have a lot of data sets in a single file. It's extremely useful to use XMGRACE. Now, many people would like to use GNU-plot. I used GNU-plot about a year ago, and after I found XMGRACE, I immediately switched it to it. One thing, GNU-plot is basically command line interface driven. There's a high learning curve. There's a more steep learning curve for GNU-plot than XMGRACE. XMGRACE has a interface, a graphical interface where you can trick around, you can do the stuff. People who are more not used to the command line, maybe students, high school students, or entry level Linux people who use Linux. What you call those people? I don't remember the name. Newcomers to Linux. Yeah. For them, XMGRACE is an extremely valuable tool, as I have many people in my scientific in my work using XMGRACE to their advantage. There are much more to learn. Always check on the web page of XMGRACE. There are a lot of things. There's a tutorial where it's explained how to make a simple graph, to make use of the fonts, to creating sets, to batch plotting. I'll cover those things in my later videos. Always go back to Grace tutorials if you have any doubts. That's a great way to learn XMGRACE. And there's a user guide which is I'll say near to complete set of different tools and all the things that XMGRACE uses, what it is and what it is for, who it is for, how it is doing stuff, and so on. So that's it for today, for this first video on XMGRACE. I'll be back with more cool stuff to how to improve your productivity and such. Thank you everyone, I'm doing it for you. Thank you.